Well, hello there, folks, and happy Thursday to you. It's lovely to see you again, as usual. And thanks for coming over just to check out this very simple and very easy recipe. And I hope that I find you very well indeed. So, tonight for tea, I've made this lovely pot roast in the slow cooker or the crock pot, and it gives you an amazing creamy mushroom gravy. It's just lovely. So, as usual, I'll put all of the ingredients on the screen as we go, but I'll also put them underneath the video just in case you want to come back later on. So I'm using some Campbell's condensed cream of mushroom soup. I've got some beef stock, a joint of beef. I'm using chestnut mushrooms. I've got some flour as well. Then in that wee jug there, I've got some salt, pepper. I've got some garlic and onion powder as well. And I've got one medium onion, which I've finely diced. And then you're going to need some oil. So I'm using olive oil, but use sunflower or vegetable, whatever you prefer. I am using an Aberdeen Angus joint of beef, but again, use whatever beef you prefer or that you've got to hand. So into your beef, we're just going to rub some salt, some pepper, some garlic, and also some onion powder. You can use gloves for this if you prefer. I don't mind, the feel of raw meat. So, I just get in with my hands, but you can use gloves if you prefer. So just make sure it's well rubbed into your beef, because this is going to give it a wee bit of extra flavour. And we're also going to rub in 1 tablespoon of flour. This is just plain flour, so just make sure that's well rubbed in. That's going to help thicken your gravy and protect your meat as we sear it. So get your pan on. You want this nice and hot, sort of medium to high heat. Pop your oil in, let that get nice and spitting hot, and then to that you want to add the beef. You just want to sear this for a few minutes on each side, just until it's nice and browned all over and going a wee bit crispy, because that's going to give you bags of flavour as well. Now, once you're happy and it's looking something like this, you just want to lift it out with some tongs and set that to the side for the time being. We're just going to continue with the same pan. So pop it onto a sort of low to medium heat, and we're just going to add the onions to this. You can add more oil if you need to, if your pan is looking a bit dry. Mine was fine. And you want to cook this for about 5 minutes until your onions are starting to look translucent, and then you can pop in your mushrooms. I am using chestnut mushrooms, but use whatever mushrooms you prefer. So you can slice them, chop them, dice them, whatever you want. You want to let these cook in with your onions for about another 5 minutes, just until they're starting to go coloured and they're nicely softened. And then to this, we're going to add another tablespoon of flour. Again, this is just plain flour. Make sure the flour is well coated to your mushrooms and it's nicely, it's nice and even. And we're going to let this cook for about another minute or two, just to get rid of that raw flour taste. And this is going to help thicken up your gravy. To this, we're going to add the beef stock. I am using an OXO cube, but use whatever beef stock you prefer. Let this simmer away for about 5 minutes and it will thicken and reduce, slightly. And once you're there, you can add in your soup. I am using Campbell's condensed cream of mushroom, but you can use beef consomme. Oxtail soup also works really well in this. So just, stir it through and then bring this back up to a simmer. And that's your sauce done. Really simple. So go over to your crock pot. I am using a 2.5 litre crock pot. So just pop in your beef, and then on top of that, we're going to put that lovely mushroom sauce that we've just made. So just pop that on top, and then pop your lid on, and you can cook this on low all day if you prefer, or put it onto high for between 4 and 6 hours. And that's what I done. I put mine on high and I ended up cooking mine for about 5 hours. And your end result is going to be a lovely tender joint of beef, and you're going to have the most wonderful gravy. It's lovely and thick and creamy with the onions and the mushrooms, the garlic, it's just lovely. And we love this kind of thing, with some mashed potato, or you can even have this over rice or on its own, with a hunk of crusty bread. So I just like to shred this in the slow cooker with my fork, and you can see just how tender this is. It's just falling apart. But you can, if you prefer, lift your beef out, and slice it, and then just add the gravy over the top. But I think it's just lovely doing it this way. You just get a nice combination of everything that's going on there. You can see there just how tender this is. So I'm just going to serve this, like I said, with some mashed potato and some broccoli, a couple of hunks of that lovely tender beef, and then some of that mushroom gravy over the top. And doesn't it look wonderful? It's actually, it tastes better than it looks, and it does look lovely. But yeah, it was ever so tender, and you really didn't even need a knife with this. As you can see, I'm just trying to pull it apart to let you see just how tender this was. Now, this is going to depend on the beef that you use. You might need to cook this a wee bit longer depending on the joint of beef that you used. Like I said, I used Aberdeen Angus, and it's a really nice, joint of beef. So you might need to do it a wee bit longer depending on what you're using. But do let me know if you're planning on giving that one a go, because like I said, it's absolutely delicious. And just before I leave you, I wanted to say a huge thank you, as usual, to the supporters of the channel over my Patreon page, to the channel members here on YouTube as well, and for you all for watching and leaving your lovely comments, and for those that share the videos as well. It's all very much appreciated. And I will catch up with you during the week for another wee recipe. I always post a recipe on a Thursday or back on Sunday for our family meals of the week, or back on Saturday for our wee shopping and bagging. So until I see you next, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you off as soon back here on What's for Tea. Take care. Bye for now. Bye now.